You know about the probation and community service stuff the guy was given for a 12-year-old girl in England, right? Know about that. How about the 20 months in prison for a Facebook post? That happened. Talk about that because England is fallen in ways that if Kamala Harris becomes the official figurehead, America is bound to go through. Today is the day the Lord has made, and these are the times through which God has decided we shall live. In times such as these, we're going to watch more and more and more speech be punished. In times such as these, we're going to watch more and more and more as government warms up to the role of making sure that only the good ideas get discussed. The model for this has been in, quote, the science. You can't have scientific excellence without scientific debate. You can't have scientific debate when there's an official position. When consensus rules all, you can't have scientific evolution, exploration, none of it. Because consensus comes from power. It doesn't always come that way, but that's the way it happens in so-called modern science. They took a run at this. They did well for about 3 years, but now the pieces are falling apart as people are starting to understand how co-opted the science is. So now it falls over into political science. The UK is applying theory to the lives of human beings, like this guy who's been jailed for 20 months, well, in prison, because of a Facebook post. Now, what he said matters. It actually does matter. And there could be a debate on this, but not when you start to pay attention to what happens to the important people when they say things very, very similar to what this guy said. I'll break into this detail in a second, and you'll hear the judge's statement, complete with that weird white wig those guys still wear. No offense to the UK. It's your country. Do what you wish. I just find the weird wigs weird. Do I sound like the J.D. Vance attacker? Weird? He doesn't wear a white wig. There's a weirdness that takes over in your life as you age. There are things that just become harder, such as recovering from workouts or work. I got a note from a guy the other day who said, I really appreciate you talking about long-haul truckers and suggesting that we buy the Eden Pure device. I got to tell you something. I've started to take Native Path Collagen because you've talked about it on your show. I know it doesn't seem like it, but sitting on your, and he uses a word here that I will replace with keister because I want to sound like my grandpa, your keister, get off your keister. Sitting on your keister for 12 hours a day can make you plenty sore. When I heard you talk about your collagen thing, I tried that. I'm forgetting the name of it as I write the email, but I was glad to do it. And I'm going to buy that other device because my truck does end up stinking sometimes. But please talk a bit about guys like us and our health. It's a hard thing for us to sit all day, and I appreciate you calling us out. So, true thing, your body is going to really, really age very quickly if you're in a job like that, or in the inverse. I talked to a guy the other day who fell trees for a living. His body's wrecked. He just had a hip replacement surgery. He's younger than me. Do not allow reticence to try a new product to stop you from getting its benefits. Native Path Collagen's formula is scientifically backed to increase bone mineral density that can put off things like hip replacements and to accelerate tissue recovery, even after sitting for a long period of time. It also reduces wrinkles, it enhances hair thickness, it strengthens weak or damaged nails. This is one of the reasons I put collagen into my protocol. Because of what I'm doing to my body preparing for Seal Fit, it's taking a real beating. The collagen helps me recover more quickly, and when I take it before a long exercise session, it even protects my cartilage from degradation, protecting my joints. Right now, when you visit getnativepath.com/Todd, you can stock up on Native Path Collagen and get an incredible discount up to 45% off plus free shipping. Every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. The website, again, is getnativepath.com/Todd for up to 45% off. Getnativepath.com/Todd. Here's this judge sentencing this man, and he's doing it in his beautiful, beautiful powdered white wig.
You have been committed for sentence, having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive, or insulting, intending thereby to stir up racial hatred. The context of your offending is that it arises out of the civil unrest and disorder in many parts of the United Kingdom. On the night of the 2nd and 3rd of August, the Britannia Hotel in Leeds was attacked by people who threw missiles which damaged windows. The police were called, and on the 3rd of August the hotel was locked down for the protection of those who were living there. At the time there were 210 occupants, many of whom were foreign refugees and asylum seekers. Similar attacks to the hotel were launched on the 4th of August. The police attended on each occasion, and units were deployed to safeguard the hotel and to provide an increase in the police presence in the area. In between the two attacks, you took to social media in order to encourage others towards participation in the attacks upon the hotel. As is recognised on your behalf, this offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. Would you stand, please? The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment. You will serve up to 1/2 of your sentence in custody before you are released on licence. If you fail to abide by the conditions of your licence, you can be returned to prison to serve some or all of the remainder of the custodial term. The victim surcharge will apply, and I will make a collection order.
So it's not just prison, it's money. Now, what the guy says matters. His name is Jordan Parley. He's 28 years old, from outside the English city of Leeds. And among the things he said was that every man and his dog should smash the F out of Britannia Hotel. So he was encouraging this vandalism, not against people, but things. In England, there were Black Lives Matter Incorporated riots that were cheered on by the media, that were cheered on by the powerful. No one, to my knowledge, faced a similar sentence. The English people are getting exactly what they voted for, which is a culture war, and it's becoming a hot war. It is important to understand something in light of this. We ourselves cannot act this way. We do not go break things. We do not go harm people unless it's in defense of life. We don't do this. Or in a just declared war. Judiciously declared war. We cannot do this because God Almighty does not allow it in his kingdom. We are not to hate our enemies or our neighbors or people who are stealing from us, as is happening in the UK. But what is happening in the UK, and the government is taking one side and one side only, is the end stage of a forced cultural revolution. The reason they have flooded specific cities with Muslim immigrants is to get this outcome. And when normal people who would rather be left alone start urging violence, you have a problem in your country that's going to get worse. Tyler Kay, a 26-year-old from Northampton, was booked to more than 3 years in prison for sharing an X-Post reading, "Set fire to all the blank hotels full of the bastards." That according to the Associated Press. The UK is going to ultimately completely fall unless God intervenes. But why would he? Because the UK has no relationship to God anymore. Their churches have become co-opted almost entirely. Their politics is devoid of faith. Their world is devoid of faith. But we Christians here must pray for the Christians there. These speech codes, we're going to see it here. We're already putting people in prison for speech. It's already happened. Pro-life people have been put in prison for speech. Oren Shar, who worked with Alex Jones, has been put in prison for speech. And there's quite a number of J6 defendants who are there for speech. They didn't break anything. They didn't vandalize anything. They went in and they took pictures. I will go back to this theme every time we talk about free speech. I can talk, you can hear by virtue of God. This is why free speech is that first of the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights. God is pro-speech. He is pro-accountability. England is the opposite. God does not take sides. No, he doesn't. God created speech for everybody. It's a common blessing. Yes, he took a common language away from us in the Tower of Babel because we were misusing it. But God does not punish some people differently than others. God really doesn't punish. He lets us punish ourselves. We can separate ourselves from him, and he allows us to do that through choice. A pro-free speech God in an anti-free speech nation. That should tell us everything as to why England is falling and why we should do everything we can here to pray for people who continue to speak out despite this. Can you believe you live in a time such as this? I can, because God put you here on purpose. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I say it's more speech. Louder, with more love, more often. Louder, with more love, more often. This is the Todd Herman Show. Please go be well, be strong, be kind. Please make every effort to walk in the light of Christ.